every other panel today, I have given them questions and we've been like really well prepped. When I talked to these two ladies, I realized there was no real need to do any of that because they were going to just take away the show in a very good way. Why? Because when I watched Rachel's video that she has, and this by no means is a pitch, it's not sponsored whatsoever, but they have come together and created a really cool program, which again, I'm not even supposed to really be talking about, but I respect them very much. I myself have a 9-year-old daughter. I'm running a business. Life is chaotic. I watch the agents in my office, like Jenna, has her baby, and she can't get home in time to be the baby sometimes, and we need to work on that work-life balance before we all lose our freaking minds, right? So I'm going to hand it over to you, and I want you to tell everyone your story, and then Nina, I want you to be able to jump in and tell these people how you changed your life.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. My name's Rachel Adams, and this is my first Inman Connect, so I'm really excited to be here. Well, let's see. I have been in real estate about 4 years now, and in my 3rd year in the business, I had hit top 1,000 agents in the country for the Wall Street Journal. And I was really intentional about what I put out there. I was very social media is one of my things. I closed like 31 out of 123 deals last year from Facebook. So it was really important to me that I had the perfect car and I dressed the perfect way and I showed happy hours and I just wanted people to think everything was perfect. And exciting, I got offered to go to Keller Williams to shoot a commercial to talk about my 3 years and how I had such great success, and I was under 30 at the time. And I went there and I was really excited, and yet what people didn't know is in that 3 years to have that quick success, I had gained 30 pounds, I had gotten a divorce that I had never dealt with, and I was putting everyone else's needs in front of my own. I mean, getting a headache and taking an Advil with a cup of coffee, like I feel like we've all been there. And then
I was supposed to be interviewing Rachel.
Yeah.
And so Rachel came in and I said, we're supposed to be talking today about your health and what's going on and all these great things she'd been posted on social media. And I told her I wanted her to sit down and we needed to talk.
And so I'm ready. I mean, I do real estate interviews all the time, podcasts, so she's asking me about my business. Mind you, that day I went to Nordstrom's and I had an awesome new dress, my hair was done, makeup, and I had a serious pair of Spanx on to hide the 30 pounds. And
I think we call those double Spanx.
Yeah, it probably was, maybe triple.
Good idea.
And I sit down with Nina and I'm ready for her questions, and she's asking me about my career, and I said, well, da-da-da, and I'm answering my normal canned stuff, and she kind of stops me and she's like, and how did that make you feel? And I said, I mean, you know, bumps and bruises, but you do what you do. And we keep talking, and she's asking me more questions, and she says, and how did that make you feel? And I'm thinking, what the heck, chick? Like, and she asked the camera crew to step outside, and my face goes white. I don't know what the heck's going on.
And what I noticed in those moments of Rachel walking, and I've been working with people in health and wellness for 20 plus years, and Rachel wasn't in amazing, great shape, and I wasn't going to be able to put her on for that month and say, hey, look, this woman's doing all this stuff and really balanced in her health and wellness. And so I just spoke really candid to Rachel and started talking about what was going on with her. And in that moment, crying and all
I burst into tears for the good next 2 hours.
And for those of you that know me, we know authenticity often comes with tears. But when we're talking about health and wellness, it's not a program, it's not a thing you're doing, it's not this new diet, it's you. It's actually learning about you. And my background's in health and wellness, and it was mental health first, and then health and wellness. And what we know is that most people aren't integrated with what's going on in their head and what's going on in their body. So I want to ask the audience real quick, because we're up here talking, but rate your business, write it down on a piece of paper, or at least think it in your head. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your business? You rate it 8, 9, 10, I'm doing really amazing. 4, 5, 6, I'm growing, I'm like, whatever. Rate your business. Then I want you to rate your physical health on a scale of 1 to 10. How many people's rate at the same exact number? Congratulations for those people. For everybody else, average your number. Because what Rachel knows now from the kind of understanding about health and wellness and what we teach is that those numbers, if they're not the same number, you are bringing down your business average. So if you're an 8 and you've got a 6, you're at least a 7. But I will tell you, most people are greater than that. And so that's where Rachel was at that time.
So I'm sitting on this, it was actually in the workout room at Keller Williams Corporate. So I'm sitting on this bench and Nina and I are having this honest conversation, and for me it was the first honest conversation I had actually had about where I was at in the 3 years. And so I'm crying and I tell her that I got a divorce that I never dealt with and that I have no boundaries with my clients and that I did achieve this success, but at what cost? And I think that in life, you can have the biggest professional goals that you want, but if you don't take care of your body, you're never gonna get there. You're not gonna be the best realtor you can be. You're not gonna be the best, wife you can be, husband, whatever it is. And so she sent me home. We did another video, not about health and my success. We did another video, but she sent me home and I never got to shoot the commercial. I cried again for like 2 more days. And then what happened is I kind of just put my foot down and I said, okay, I know I'm meant for more. What could my life look like if I led my life with authenticity and intention? What could that look like? If I really watched who I surrounded myself with, and what ended up happening is I took out my 2 biggest distractions for 90 days. I'm an immediate gratification person. I don't know if any of you are. And I'm like, what do I have to do to get results? And 90 days is what I felt comfortable with. It was 3 months. And so for 90 days, my 2 biggest distractions were dating and drinking. I was on like 3 online dating apps and happy hours with clients and girlfriends. Wasn't crazy, but 4 days a week, and that adds up.
And that taking out those distractions allowed her to start implementing the other things that could make her powerful. And that one thing, for those of you in this room, if there's one thing you want to walk away with today that could really change your life, that's really super easy, and it was the one that I nailed you on, because you would also, I asked Rachel, because I can touch your body and I can tell you if you're hydrated. And Rachel said,
she takes my hand. We're in this interview. Well, the cameras are gone at this point, and I'm like mascara running down my face. So she takes my hand.
And I just touched her skin, and I can tell how hydrated she is. And
She's like, your skin's supposed to go back down.
So I asked her, I said, have you had issues with being hydrated? She said, no. And then as I kept talking, this is how different our brains work. She said, no. And then she said, I've been hospitalized twice for dehydration.
Over my whole life.
Still, that's a kind of a biggie. That's a biggie. So that was one of her first things. So those of you, cheers, everybody take a sip of water, because this is your number one thing that's super easy. And if I told you I had a pill to make you healthy, you guys would have to take a sip of water to take the pill. So just pretend you have the pill to make you healthy and drink the water.
So the interesting thing that happened is over this 90 days for me, I had these 2 things taken out of my life, dating and drinking. And so I got to get really purposeful about how I was spending my time, who I was spending my time with, what I was reading, what I was listening to, and I realized that who we surround ourselves with is everything. Jim Rohn has this quote that you're the sum of the 5 you hang around. So I got really intentional with who my 5 were, and I started meditating and I started journaling, because if you're not going out all the time, you have time to really do some self-reflection. And on day 69 of my 90, I went back to Keller Williams. We have a family reunion. It was in Orlando. And I'm walking down the hallway and I see Nina. And at this point, I'm like 25 pounds lighter and my skin's glowing. And she says to me like, oh my gosh, what happened to you? And I'm like, you happened in that conversation. And so she said we needed to get together and talk about it. And luckily I had journaled the whole time, so we ended up pinpointing 12 different things that changed over those 90 days, and then that ended up becoming the 12 chapters of the program.
So one of the things for Rachel, which I love, for those of you that are in your 50s like me, and you find somebody that she's
You're in
just
your 50s?
under...
Yeah, get out of here. And she has like serious muscles.
51.
Like, give me a break.
Yes. Wow. So, but when you find somebody who is under 30 and they're really excited about all kinds of stuff and they want to share, there's just a lot of different ways you spend your energy at some point. And my bandwidth, I've got, 4 stepkids, my husband, 2 houses, my business, all of this stuff. When she gets so excited and she says, I want everyone to know my journey, the difference that it makes is because Rachel's journey is everybody's journey out there. Mm-hmm. She can tell you, here's the things that I did, and I can tell you, these are the things you can change. And it doesn't take a ton of change, it just needs to be about you. If you think about your health is like your smartphone, okay? And most people are treating their smartphone, they get to do all kinds of stuff with it. When we're talking about our health, it's like if you only used the call feature on your smartphone, okay? When we get to know ourselves, it's like we get to know everything that's on our smartphone. We can take photos, we can do all those Facebook, Instagram, all the posts, I don't know, what are the other ones, Tumblr, everything else. You can do all that. So it's a journey about you. So whenever you get all that information out there, it's a $63 billion industry failing, okay, of health and wellness. So it's not about out there, it's about in here. It's about learning about you. So what Rachel did in our work together, which is so great, is 1, she really got authentic about her. And then we worked to figure out the things that can make you more powerful. And then 2 is that she wanted to share it. And by sharing it, then somebody out there that's sitting in the audience goes, okay, not everybody's on, how many dating apps were you on?
I was on 3.
3 dating apps, but we have other things that are distracting us. And so if there's things out there in your business that you want to continue to succeed, you have to make sure this is the body that goes with it. In real estate, I've been working with real estate agents for 18 years, working with Keller Williams. And one of the things, real estate agents, you are your business. Unless you have someone that can jump in and take over who you are, this is your #1 asset. So I would encourage you to tell your CPA at the end of the year to ask you a question. Ask me about my physical health. Am I appreciating or depreciating this year? And then at least once a year you have somebody that's asking you that question so that you can stay in touch with paying attention to you. And that's what really changes. And the great thing is Rachel made all these changes before she was 30. It doesn't mean that no matter what age you're at, it's too late. I can work with my 4 oldest clients are in their 90s, 93 and 94. And they all started in their 70s. And they all said, if I had just been 60 when I started this. Okay, so now they're all in their 93s and 94s. In 10 years, you can be in better shape than you are at this moment sitting in this chair today. Mm-hmm. So 50 can look like this, can look like me without this. You can make a big change. And so Rachel, by being this real estate agent that's a young dynamo that wants to share, that allows other people to be on your journey. And that's really what was the beneficial
Absolutely.
thing.
Rachel, tell me, what are those I mean, because I think we've all been where you were.
Yeah.
What are those things that you changed automatically on that day 1 of that 90-day process that you're like, I'm just done? Or what changed, like getting up earlier? Like, what did you do?
So I'm going to give you 3 things. I feel like when we come to these conventions, there are so many things you hear, and you have this notebook, and I don't know if you're like me, but I have this notebook full of amazing things, and I'm like, I'm going to implement everything. And then I go home, and I might implement one. Also, it might sit on my desk and get a little bit dusty and become one of those to-do lists, and then a month later, you look at it, and you're like, gosh, what was that amazing thing I was going to do? So 3 things I would say really impacted me immediately. 1 is I got really clear about a clean no versus a dirty yes. Clean no versus a dirty yes. I think too many times we get very comfortable saying, yeah, I'll be there. Oh yeah, I can make it. And 1, you might not even want to go, or 2, you don't actually have the time.
Right, so don't ever go with your first response.
Yes.
Come up with the #2 and #3. Let me look at my calendar, I'll get back to you. Let me check about that. Oh, that sounds really great, I'll let you know. But never, yes is oftentimes people's first response. And just learning not to do your first response, just pause. And then that makes it easier to get to that that no or yes, that's both.
It's a good one.
Well, and being really clear with it, having a high level of integrity. You don't want to be that person that's always canceling or flaking, and I was that person, to be honest. I wanted to be everything to everyone, and so I wanted to make my clients happy and my girlfriends happy, and I wanted to please people.
Yeah. So what was one of the things, real estate agents do this all the time, where they hand their number to their client and say, call me 24/7. Do you really mean that? No.
Okay, so that brings me to the second thing, boundaries. Okay, you're in a buyer broker meeting with your clients and you say, I'm so excited you're gonna be working with me to buy your dream home. I work until 7 p.m. at night. If you need me after that, go ahead and send me a text message or an email, and if it's an emergency, I'll get back to you.
That's just setting expectations.
Right, which we all set expectations. But then what happens if it's 9:30 at night and this couple is sitting on their couch and they've opened a bottle of wine and they're browsing through their phones and they see a house they want to see. And they send you a text message and they say, hey Rachel, want to see this house? So excited, it's 9:30. If I chose to respond to them, I've now set my new boundary at 9:30. You know what I mean?
And then if you don't.
And then if you don't, you set your boundary and you stick to it. You wouldn't call your doctor at 9:30. They have office hours and so do you. So I just got really clear on my timing, and I thought that was really important.
And I think something that's always, the more successful people that I work with, whether or not they're Olympic athletes or actors or real estate agents, they set those boundaries, but they also understand when people perceive that you are really busy and you're really successful, they don't believe you're able to reach them right back. They're like, I'm sure she's really busy. So it's actually okay. The busier you are, the less available you often are.
And what was number 3?
Number 3 for me was knowing that mindset was so huge for me. When I first got in the business, I quickly realized that if I wanted to be a top producer, I had to act like a top producer and think like a top producer and do the things a top producer were doing. And yet at 2 in the afternoon, if you're on Facebook and you see a cat video on YouTube, sometimes you've lost another half hour because that was cute, and then you keep going. I got really, really clear on setting my mindset right, and one of the things was in the morning, well, it even starts the night before. Nina and I, this was something we worked on.
Because you weren't sleeping.
I wasn't. Sleep has always been one of my things, and so I mean, how many of us, you like lie in bed and you're like, oh, that escrow or this title, or did I send that inspection? Like, get out of town.
So your powerful morning, and everyone that's doing different things like Miracle Morning, but it really is the night before. So you just have to look at your night before, and that's what we really broke down, your night before.
Yeah.
And your bedroom and everything else.
Totally. So the idea was, if you go to bed and you have 5 hours to sleep, because that does happen. I mean, obviously you've got kiddos, you know how that works.
Maybe, yeah.
If you have 5 hours to sleep, if you go to bed and you're like, oh my gosh, I have 5 hours, I'm gonna be so tired, I'm gonna drag, tomorrow's gonna suck, and I'm gonna need coffee at 4. You get up, you're tired, your day sucks, you need coffee at 4. And yet, what if you set your mind and you say, oh my gosh, I have 5 hours. I'm gonna have the most beautiful, restful sleep, and I'm gonna feel rejuvenated, and ready to take on the day. Totally. And then
this is actually scientific though. That's not just affirmations and trying to adjust your mindset. The last thought you have before you close your eyes is the program that runs in your brain. So if you lay down in bed and you think, oh my God, I'm so tired, oh, I'm gonna have a really busy day tomorrow, that's the program as soon as your eyes, that's what runs. So you wanna actually run a different program.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanna ask the two of you now, because we've ran out of time, but I think it's really interesting. I want you to tell them, again, it's not a pitch whatsoever, they didn't ask me to do this. Tell them what you told me backstage, where they can see the program that you've created that helped you so much in your business and personal life, and then we'll finish it up.
Awesome. If you go to www.lost2found90.com, and the number 2 and 90 are the actual number, you can actually download the first 3 chapters of the book for free, and you can watch one of the inspirational guidance videos. You'll click on the free preview tab, which is on the left-hand side. We have a commercial kind of where you can see more about what the program's about, but it's 90 days.
You guys can all start, and you can actually make a change today.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Your water.
These women are very authentic and great people, so please, round of applause for both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies, very, very much. Appreciate it.